Hello, everyone. Good morning. How are you today? And I hope you are in a happy day and a good day today. And then this is accidentally video that I would like to make to you. I would like to share about EU education policy as a framework of regional cooperation. So why this is important to discuss? Because in my opinion, EU higher education is one of the most important thing as a soft diplomacy for EU partner in international cooperation or even in regional cooperation. And then most of EU countries have a good rank of international education. And then we in Indonesia as developing country also can learn about EU higher education policy and hopefully that we can implement in ASEAN. So I think MBKM today is one of the platform of internet higher education in Indonesia. Merdeka Belajar that we call is have the indicator kerja utama university called IKU 6 is about international cooperation, and then us in the University of Mataram also implement that. So I hope that this matter we can discuss and then we can learn together. Okay, let's get started. So first thing that okay, what happened with my okay, sorry. Okay, today I would like to overview about how EU education, higher education policy is in a regional cooperation, and then what is the lesson learning of EU higher education as for us in Indonesia. Okay, sorry, I think that my picture should be on the upper that you can see the presentation. Yep. Okay, what is regional cooperation? What do you think about regional cooperation? Regional cooperation is a cooperation among nations who have a common agreement in social, economic, and cultural issues. So the basic assumption of regional cooperation can learn from neoliberal perspective. What is neoliberal perspective, as you know? So it's about institution has an important role in countries' relationships. So, how we will have the agreement in social, economic, and cultural issue to engage our cooperation. Then in EU as a supranational organization, EU much more concerned about its engagement about its society and strategic partners. Why it's important? Because to develop cooperation is not only about economic, but social, cultural issues is also important. And the third one is about the developing of regional cooperation, promote the promote state actor involvement. For example, is not only about state man actor, but also academician, researcher, even the student, because now youth cooperation is really important to create a good engagement among society. So before I move on to the another part, another matter that you know about AU as supranational organization. EU is not intergovernmental organization. And why? Because EU, all of the EU's countries put a part of their sovereignty to EU Parliament. So there are countries, upper countries. So EU is a supranational corporation, and then EU government have authority to create a policy regarding EU as institutional organization, as especially regional organization. And then we move to the next chapter regarding the EU regional cooperation. In the beginning, the EU's elite politics or EU policy making think that education is something very emergencies, because at the beginning of the EU regional cooperation is organization, education is not the most important issues. You know that the first thing when EU start cooperation, they are more concerned about academic issues, not about political issues, or no, not about education issues or social issues, because they want concern about economic cooperation is coal and steel cooperation. So they more focus about economic cooperation at the beginning. So in the beginning, mostly every regional cooperation only focus about their economic cooperation at first. Then they develop their cooperation into the social environment and etc. This is the timeline education become one of the EU concern. So in the 1951, the agreement among European countries is about European Coal and Steel Treaty. So this part is education was absent, and the 1957 Treaty of Rome, education still absent, and then 1971 the first meeting of Minister of Education and Council. So education EU AU EU elite politics or EU government start putting the education as the important thing of their cooperation in 1971. That's why maybe it's quite late. It's more than 20 years, right? So, but it's okay. It's a good thing to start. And then 1976, first Community Action Program Education, and then 1992 Maastricht Treaty, and then continue with the Erasmus program, Erasmus Plus, and now we still continue with Erasmus program. So this timeline I got in the material, and when I'm studying Poland is about EU education policy. So it's really interesting to study about EU education policy. Then why higher education is important in EU regional cooperation? Is this the thing that we should learn together? The first thing, link with research and innovation. Most of the EU's university link the um, link the academic aspect with the research and innovation, especially that we can see that in Sweden, in the Germany. So university is not university and corporate or business sector is not something different, but they have a very good engagement. And the second one, the aim individual development, social and human capital. And the third one, engage with EU citizens. You need a creative job, economic development and prosperity. So higher education focus on creating, improve the human resource development EU society, especially the young society, and then you need create a job, economic development and prosperity. As we know, like now that in both of developed countries facing very um, high problem is about aging society, so that education is one most important thing to facing very many problems about that. And then the fourth one is about sustainable growth, is about one of the part of SDGs, sustainable development. And then the Europe 2022 has set target that by 2022, 40% of young European will have higher education qualification. So based on my experience in Europe, that I'm very amazed that uh, many universities connected under the Erasmus program, even is the public university or private university, and then most of the students of those university have same opportunity to move abroad. When I'm studying Poland, I can have for example, I can have a change to study in Brussels, to study in Germany, to study in Belgium, and etc. And then the university also provide us with the opportunity to internship program that we got payment or we got internship for that. So it's a really interesting that I know that maybe we can learn the policy from EU to implement in ASEAN, maybe starting from ASEAN University Network that we will discuss later. So, uh, to support the EU cooperation, to support the EU education, higher education, authorities in member states remain responsible for the way higher education is organized and delivered in their countries. And then EU activity provide additional international dimensional to studying, teaching, and researching or making policy in higher education. And then the third one, the EU support international exchange for student, academic staff, and researchers as well as a structured cooperation between higher education institutions and public authorities in different countries through Erasmus Plus, Horizon to 2020, and in 21 it changed to Erasmus. So the European Union not only create the policy about higher education, but they also support the higher education itself, and then the opportunity to get uh, experience to study in Europe is not only for European students, but also they develop their wider the target to the EU partners such as Asia, Africa, and America. So it will be really interesting. Even if I'm not mistaken, that in Indonesia only several universities that have connected with Erasmus, so not all of university can go through Europe. But after the ISMA project from Ministry of Education Indonesia, many students can experience exchange studies in UK, in Europe, in US, and etc. So it's a good change for us. And then we will discuss about the Bologna process when the EU higher education cooperation, like in Bologna process, there are several commitment, there are several things that we should know. Is the Bologna process is promote intergovernmental cooperation among 48 European countries. And the second one, establish the higher education area, facilitate student, staff mobility, etc. And then have a strong commitment in EU higher education area, like introduce recycle higher education, ensure mutual recognition, and implement a system of quality assurance. So, Bologna process is one of the stepping forward for widening higher education as a one of regional cooperation in EU. And then, what is EU European Policy Cooperation Education Training into 2020 framework? Like, there's several things that we can learn together. Pardon me that I'm new to using this one, but it's okay. Okay. Pardon my face, like, okay, I'm everywhere. So, but I'm trying to using this model in my presentation because I think it's easier and it's like easier to me. Like, you can show most of the slides, so it will be more enjoying you. So then, European Policy Corporation Education and Training 2020 framework is make lifelong learning, mobility and reality, improve equality and efficiency education and training, promote equity, social cohesion and active citizenship, and promote equity, social cohesion. Okay, the third one is same, and the fourth one, my mistake. And then in 2019, EU renewed its youth strategy to propose European Commission. They focus on engage, connect, and empower because they know that long life learning is very important in this era. You know what? Many students working not in based on their academic experience, like maybe student who studying technique or studying um, what is say biology can working in the bank or in the as e-commerce and etc. So they know long life learning is very important. So to create that your strategy has we have you have to engage the youth and then connect to them and empower them, because youth is one of the most important thing to develop countries in the future. Besides, we face the most challenging thing in developed country is about aging society. So this is experience for my friends Miss Dewi when she studied in Bulgaria based on EU's funding, Erasmus funding, internship program in one of NGO in Bulgaria. So do you know that the lesson learning of EU education cooperation is as important thing to support regional cooperation because it engagement with society. So if we're studying about diplomacy, education is one of soft diplomacy or it's part of cultural diplomacy, and then it engage with society for students, for young people especially. Why young people is very important because they are uh, will fulfill the job uh, to empty of after the aging society's issues. So it will support the economic as well, and then institutions support non-state actor to develop their involvement in cooperation process. So why you have a commitment to support higher education process as well. And then I think last but not least, so we can discuss about the theory in IR and there's opportunity for US as in ASEAN or University of Madras to develop this one. And then thank you. So it's really nice to share with you about EU education policy. So if I may give an opinion, my personal opinion, I think that studying EU is a very great experience for you, and then we will connect not only with university but also with industry in the NGO in the society. So if you have a change, I think that you have to challenge yourself to try study at least trying to exchange program or maybe continue your master or PhD in EU. You will not regret it. Thank you for your attention and then see you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.